Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. This is probably one of the most important things you can do to improve your relationships, improve yourself, give you a better sense of being, clarity, just feel better. And it seems so simple, but many of us don't even do it. And I'm talking about take care of yourself, self-care. It's crazy. And I experienced not taking care of myself. We'll talk about that later. This guy talks with people about this all the time. He's an amazing relationship expert and offers coaching services to individuals, couples to improve their lives, improve their relationships. William Anthony joins us again on the program. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, Steve. And how are you?
I'm good because I practiced self-care last night.
Nice. All right. How'd you do that?
So a friend of mine, I never thought I'd do this. A friend of mine suggested that I join this men's group. And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, you have no idea. I showed up, was there for maybe 2.5 hours last night. It was like a
Wow.
wonderful experience. Just guys bonding, talking about their situations, issues, checking in with each other. There's like a retreat coming up. Yeah, just a group of guys. That's it. But the friend that suggested it told me that he's been in this group every single week he goes since I think he said 2010. Yeah,
Oh,
right around
wow.
2010. And this guy is a very successful businessman. He had millions of dollars in properties and
Mm.
lost it all. And lost it
Oh,
all, almost got divorced, had issues, everything popped up. He joined this group and it completely changed his life. And he goes, every day now is a 10. It was a zero back then, it's a 10. So I see it. I see it because everybody is there supporting each other. But just one aspect of self-care, and I never thought I would do that. But
yeah.
it was cool. It was just something different. And I'm
Well,
just
hey, after a comeback story like that, how could you not feel compelled to jump into this group, right? To give it a shot. So,
totally, but even though I know him, he's not a close friend, but a great guy. Um, I you always wonder what's the catch? Is there a, membership fee? What's going on? No,
mhm.
no, it's just people supporting each other. So, and these all guys, they
Wow.
come from the same thing where they didn't practice self-care, they didn't take care of themselves. And there's a again, this is my first meeting, but it's you give a goal. What's your goal for the next week? What are we working on? And I said, me going to the gym, like sticking to it, at least 5 hours, harder workouts, in from now until next week. I'd say about half the guys were in some form. It was about exercise because they just don't do it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's and that's just one form of self-care, that we want. I mean, exercise is not just about keeping yourself physically healthy. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel more confident, more alive, more energetic, and
Yeah,
and that's why it's important. That's why people look at themselves in the mirrors because they want to see the change. They want to see the growth. They're excited about it. So it's not just about, and what does that do to you? It reverberates back onto yourself, the confidence of that results from the progress that you see, you
sure.
know, and so that's definitely something that we want to talk about today with the listeners is that self-care takes a decline, especially the longer you've been in a relationship, and you end up just forgetting about yourself and your needs, and it's just a shame. We lose touch with our hobbies. We lose touch with, as you said, self-care, taking care of yourself,
Hmm.
eating right, staying healthy. And we lose touch with our individualism, you
So
know?
true.
And ironically, most of the time, those are the most important things. That's what brought you and your partner together in the first place. Admiring oh wow, I admire that about you. I like that about you. And we lose those things along the way. We lose ourselves, literally, you
It's
know.
interesting too when you look at it where one person is practicing self-care in that relationship, and let's say it's a longer relationship, the other one isn't, and then the one that isn't looks at the one that is, and then has resentment. but they don't frame it in terms of, well, I wouldn't have that resentment if I was just doing the same thing. They look at it as, well, you have all that time, to work out and take care of yourself and go for massages, and I'm working my butt off, blah 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 blah. Well, you can always find time for self-care. That's what I've learned in my journey. And by the way, it took me, many years. I've only started doing it like in the last 2 years. So, guilty is charged with all of that, not taking care of ourselves.
It's hard to find a time. How did you, I mean, you started, as you said, most recently. How did you find the time?
Um, it's little pockets of that time, finding time to go to the gym, even a massage. Like I'll go every couple of weeks, not an expensive one, just to work out some knots and things like that. Usually
Yeah.
that's on a weekend. Um, my downfall last year, I love kayaking. I love it.
Mm,
I did not
that's fun.
set enough time for it. And then all of a sudden, wow, it's October now. It's cold out. Can't really hit it up like that. But that's my goal this year is at least once every 2 weeks, maybe once a week if I can, make that my exercise or at least part of it. But what do you think about setting the expectations, setting the goals? Like how do we do that? Is it like a New Year's resolution where you you set that goal?
You know, um, what I always tell when I start working with couples, especially working on the individual, bringing out their self-care and bringing out their individual selves again with a relationship, and they want to start something, I always say start small and start simple. Create little wins at first. Sometimes even just, a lot of times we make excuses. Oh, you know what? I hurt. I don't feel good. I can't go. Or, oh, I kind of, hurt a little part of my body. I can't go. I get that a lot. And I'll say, okay, well, just don't work with that part of your body. The
Hmm.
most important thing is consistency and showing up. Show up, be consistent. That creates the activity and it cements the activity within your mind and within your routine. Once you cement the activity, you'll naturally start to gain proficiency and get better at it and work different things and so on and so forth. That's what it's all about. It's about just starting. Just start anywhere, start something. If you want to travel more, research first, write down areas, get excited, look at photos of where you want to go, where you picture yourself being, and then start looking at flights. Every step closer to your dream, your goal, is exactly what's necessary to get there.
Yep. Yep. And
Engaging in every
we have these big pictures. I got to go to the gym every day. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to do that because I did it coming up on 2 years ago. I felt I was in really great shape. And then, you gain 15 pounds, your lifestyle changes. I want to go back to that because it's not about the way we look. It's like you said, William, it's up in here. But the
yes.
little things that we forget, like you got a dog, go for a walk with your dog, but intentionally say, I'm going for 20 minutes. And a lot of times, I'm first to admit, I go out there first thing in the morning and he's doing his thing and he wants to sniff over here and over there. And I'm like, Tanner, come on, let's go. Johnny's got to go to work. Freaking cold out. Come
Oh, I can't even
on.
tell you. Yes, yes.
Like, but I forget that it's actually a good thing for me to be outside, as is for anybody else, just being in nature, being grounded, fresh air, walking, whatever it might
Yes,
be. I think
yes.
we minimize those things where we should maximize them, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that brings up an idea. In the second half, we're going to talk about some things that couples can do together. And you kind of hit the nail right on the head with that, being outside in nature. Sometimes it doesn't have to be an expensive dinner for two. It doesn't have to be any of that. Some of the best dates are just the most simplest ones. Going to a really
I'm
nice serene spot with a cup of coffee, couples in
totally.
the park with a cup of coffee. That's sometimes that's the best thing. And
Ah,
just talking, laughing.
yeah. It's like, and
Sometimes
I
it's
can
just
I can remember all those times in the last year too, where I did that.
yeah,
I'm not even kidding. I can because it was so impactful. And I remember uh took the girl I'm with. I said, let's go for a walk. Let's go for a hike. She goes, I never hiked before. What shoes do I wear? Sneakers. Doesn't matter. And I am about like a mile. I'm not even kidding. A mile away from a tiny little park that's about a square mile, and we walked together right around, daytime, whatever. Um, she was like, "So this is hiking?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're just walking in the woods." It's like, "But we're lost. Like, where are we?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." She goes, "You don't know where we are." I'm like, "I can hear the cars. We're fine." But
As long as you share civilization, you're
right,
good.
there's a target right there. If you look, you might see the red from the building.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. But I remember it vividly, and that was about a year and a half ago because it was a moment of being outside together, fresh air. I went back to that park in late October this past year by myself. I was like, I got a little bit of time, got to get out. That was the best time I've had in a long time, just walking in of like maybe an hour, just like looking at nature, checking things out, drinking a glass, a bottle of water, whatever. Um, it's really important. We don't realize how important it is.
Yeah, and actually those moments that you get to spend with yourself, and I'm not talking about parking yourself in front of the TV,
Right.
and watching your favorite sitcom. You're just mind numbing yourself. You're numbing yourself to life.
Yep.
But when you actually, as you said, connect, you're connecting yourself to nature with no other distractions. That's a necessity. We need that.
Yeah.
It is extreme. It is actually so cathartic. And people miss out on just a simple thing. It's just standing out in your backyard. And last night I was looking at the stars. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. It was this morning before it got light out. I was looking at the stars and I was like, this is really nice. Like, this is really cool. Breathing in that cold, fresh air,
Mm,
just a simple moment like that can ground you, you know? And we miss that. And that's just a simple part of self-care.
it really is.
Um,
And it's funny you say that. Um, I sold a house about a year and a half ago ish. And my thing was my passion. I go in the backyard. I completely renovated it. I would do all the plantings by myself. Every spring, just work on stuff, just in the dirt, my hands. I loving it, loving it. No shoes. Like as soon as it's warm enough, shoes go off.
yeah.
And then I realized that was missing from my life. But I never knew that that's why I was happy in that regard. Just what you said, I'm getting back into nature. There is something about it, scientifically proven that it helps us mentally, all of that. Many of us don't even realize that, right?
Yeah. No, we don't. And it's basically you centering yourself. There are
Mm,
many vehicles that we can take, and some, as individuals, we like some more than others, or we just prefer some. But you got to figure out what those are for you. For some people, it's meditation. For some people, it's yoga. Whatever it is that allows you to connect and be centered again, because chaos creates you know, this jumble in your mind that you just feel like you have nothing to grab onto. And when everything is just all
mm.
over the place, you feel totally disconnected from everything. And there's nothing centering you, there's nothing grounding you. And sometimes a simple activity that you love, like being in your garden, being outside, being in the dirt, it just grounds you. And it sometimes, I don't know if you found this, but it kind of puts everything else into perspective
Mm.
or brings you back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, gives you
And all the
clarity.
yes,
You know, I,
100%.
I got such a visual as you're talking about this just now. Picture all of us with the chaos, right? And a river. And we're flowing down the river, and we're in the river, we're keeping our head above water. We're getting by, not optimum experience, but it's there. And then all of a sudden you see an island. And then you reach for the island and maybe you swim up to it, or at least, you get some grasp on something. To me, that's the grounding for even just a little bit. Sometimes after a while, you got to let go of the island, and now you're going to be going down the river again, and that's all good because there'll be another destination. But to me, that's the chaos, and at least until you stop somehow and I guess ground literally for that little island, it's not good. Who wants to be caught in the turbulence of the water, which is keeping your head above it?
Yeah. And the stress, of course, increases your cortisol, and cortisol, of course, does a number on your body, and negatively affects you physically, your
I'm
blood flow,
glad you
your
said that.
breathing. there's so many things that negatively affected when you allow anxiety and chaos to take over without moments of grounding yourself. And that all it all comes back to self-care. What are you doing to literally take care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
in your relationship? And men, we're all about family. We're all about taking care of our own, right? And providing, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves. We don't even get that pressure from our partners half the time. If you think about it, it's what we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
But we have to find a way to implement self-care in our lives.
It's not important. It's critical.
It is
Before
100%.
right before something goes bad, and that was my wake up, a couple of health things here and there. That was my okay, body's telling you need to tap the brakes and then jump into self-care. We have about 10 minutes left. Tips, little tips that we can do to improve our relationships. What do we got?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a couple of games I want couples to try that are really, really cool. Okay. One fun one is guessing the emotion. Now, communication is huge. And a lot of times we don't realize how we communicate. Okay. Communication happens with the tone of your voice, with the words that you use, and your physical expression, right? So what we do is we call it guess the emotion, and we choose one of those three ways to express how we're feeling. So if you want to use words, for example, you would pick a card. You can create some cards, put them in a hat, pull one out. It has an emotion on it. Okay. If it's sadness, you have to either verbally describe your sadness without using the word sad, or physically on your face express sadness without, signaling, hey, I'm sad. Okay. Or use your hands, your gestures to communicate, I am sad. And what's cool about this is it actually becomes kind of a charades kind of thing, which is kind of fun. But what's eye-opening about it
Hmm.
is it allows us a deep understanding in that all of this plays a role. You may think that you're trying to, help someone and you're talking to them, but when they see you, they may see something different. They may not be getting that vibe of you helping them. They may actually get a vibe where you're yelling at them, or you're
Hmm.
mad at them, or you're upset at them. Okay. So what's great about it is it's almost like an awakening of the self. How am I actually conveying my communication physically with the tone of my voice? I'm a
Got
loudspeaker. Okay. Sometimes I have a loud voice. Part of that is due to a little bit of lack of hearing, right? My hearing isn't the greatest.
same.
But to others, it could be misconstrued, and they could think, oh, this guy's, he's excited, he's upset, he's nervous, or he's getting agitated. So we have to kind of look at ourselves and how we communicate with each other and use all of this together and see, hey, how am I communicating? And that's what's great about the guess the emotion game, because when your partner guesses wrong and you're trying to express sadness, but they're like, I don't know, are you constipated? Are you
Yeah.
right?
You could be sad about that though. That
Yeah,
like
that's something to be sad about.
good day.
But the point is, it kind of makes you aware, like, oh, well, maybe I'm not making the right face, or maybe I'm not using the right words, and it
Hmm.
allows us to really zero in and sharpen our communication
I
when
love
we're
it.
trying to.
But part of why I really love it is in a fun way, you are being somewhat vulnerable,
Yes,
right?
yes, and I'm actually glad you said that, Steve, because a lot of times I like to give guys the hard stuff. So it's when it's their turn, I'm doing actual role playing with the couples. I'll give them the emotions that I know they're not used to. Sad, disappointed. A lot of guys don't really know how to do that with their face, so it's kind of, you know,
Hmm.
but it allows them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and express themselves in the
Right.
different ways.
And there's no
And
judgment. That's the best part. There's no
no,
judgment. It's a game.
absolutely not. It's a game.
Hmm.
But again, that's the importance of guess the emotion.
You know what's funny?
Um,
And yeah, we need to move on. Just one quick thought.
yes. Yeah.
It could be a running bit in your relationship. So you're driving. I got a half hour to kill. All right. So, I usually, I'll pick songs. What do you think of this song? Like, I like to get the bass line. But are you into this or not? And I don't mean the bass line, the bass line. I mean the bass line for stuff she likes. But
Yeah.
you could be driving. Hey, you know what? Guess the emotion. You ready? Okay. What do you got? And then you show an emotion, whatever it might be.
Yes.
You could do it anywhere,
Yeah.
just for fun.
Yeah. 100%.
Hmm,
And it's fun, but it's a learning experience for both. And you get
exactly.
to express some emotions that maybe you don't
Right.
get an opportunity to.
Hmm.
And then there's two truths and a lie. Let's see how well you know your partner. Two truths and a lie. That's an easy one.
Yep.
So basically, you put out two truths and one lie. Your partner guesses which one is the lie or which ones are the truth. That's a fun one I always love. Story building is a really cool one. So, if I start off with a word and I say I or today, and then your partner would give another word, and they'd say I, and then I would continue that, and we would create a sentence and a story based on offering a word at a time.
Let's do it. You want to try it?
Let's go. You ready?
All right, you go
Okay.
first.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to go first. Okay. This
Is
a lot
of
fun. There you go.
right. There's a simple one. Right. Yeah.
That's a simple one. That's a simple one. But I just want to give everybody an example. But be creative with it. Have fun with it. Throw some
Yeah.
words that your partner doesn't expect, and it actually can be a really fun game.
Do you remember? This is going way back. There was a game that was done in a notebook, and you would buy the notebook, Mad Libs,
Mad Libs, of course.
right? And there would just be
Yes.
words missing, and you would fill in the blank of the words, and would create a whole new situation scenario, right?
Yes. So it's sort of similar to that. And
Right.
it's only the fun is based on your creativity. More creative you are, the more
Ah,
fun the game is. And
you know
I've
what?
seen some pretty interesting story buildings.
Okay, story building. I was going to ask you what's that called again. What I like about it, aside from being fun, and you never know where it's going to go, in a way, it makes the couple seem connected because how many times have you heard, yeah, yeah, she's amazing. I say something, she finishes my sentence. She knows what I'm thinking. It's kind
Yeah.
of like you're doing that when you could be complete strangers and still do it, but you feel a little bit more connected.
Yes, 100%. And that's
Hmm.
what's great. It kind of creates this, same thought wavelength kind of thing. Just like we did, a very simple
Yeah,
sentence, and we kind of knew it was going there. And sometimes they could end up that way. But you can make it a little more flirtatious, you
sure.
know. I think that your blank is amazing, right?
Right,
And
right,
you can
right.
so there's a lot of ways that you can use the story build, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, this is great. Even the category is this weekend. Okay, here's what we're gonna do, and then you spell it out.
Yes.
So now it's like doing trivia. All right, we're doing 80s music trivia, whatever it is. And I love it too. You could just, you talk every day. Let's say you're on the phone with your other half, and yeah, a lot of times the conversation is kind of the same. Now you change it up. All right, story building. Ready? Here we go. I'm gonna
Yes.
start. Category is throw the category out. Don't need to. It's optional, but whatever. And just do it for fun. Yeah, I love that. That's cool.
100%. And if you really want to make it fun, do it through your phone, do it through text. A lot of times, we text our loved ones all the time. Sometimes
Oh.
it's cool to throw in, you can do that with emojis too, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of great, yeah. There are a lot, yeah, it goes, there you go.
I'm sensing a peach and an eggplant, but anyway,
He,
uh,
he just got it.
yeah, we'll be
So
working on
yeah,
that later.
yeah,
Awesome.
100%.
Really good stuff. How do we connect with you? So many great ideas. You're so relatable, so real, and fun. Relationships should be fun. Looking at them
Yes.
can be fun as well together. If somebody wants to work with you, even start the conversation as a coach, how do we do that?
Yeah, just go to makinglovelast.com. It's my website. You can catch me there. You can email me at williamanthonycoaching@gmail.com. You can always give us a call at 631-590-9286. And I'm all over social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Just look up Marriage with Will or William
Hmm,
Anthony Martinez or William Anthony Coaching. I'm always there.
cool. Story building. It
Is
a
pleasure
having
you
on
this.
there we go. That was cool. That was super cool. William, thank you so much, and looking forward next time we get together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It was fun.
Yep. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.